You know that feeling, right? That moment of sticker shock when your domain renewal notice pops up in your inbox? You remember paying, what, a few bucks for it? And now suddenly the bill is 10, maybe even 20 times higher. It's super frustrating, but what if I told you there's a way to slash that cost by almost half and keep it that low year after year? So, what's with the huge price jump? Honestly, it feels like a classic bait and switch, and you're not wrong. It's a business model that's designed to get you in the door with a super cheap offer because they plan on making the real money from you later. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly how this works, and more importantly, how you can opt out of it for good. Okay, let's just look at the raw numbers because they tell the whole story. Some registrars will lure you in with a cheap first year, but the real cost is hidden in the long run. Look at GoDaddy. Over a decade, you're pushing almost 200 bucks. Name Silo, which used to be a budget-friendly choice, is over 170. But then you see Cloudflare sitting at just $104 for the entire decade. This is what we call the at-cost model, and it's the absolute key to saving a ton of money. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by breaking down the domain renewal trap and get into why domains get so expensive in the first place. Then we'll look at the at-cost alternative. After that, I'll walk you through a step-by-step, zero downtime game plan, show you how to do the transfer in just 15 minutes, and finish with a pro tip for avoiding a really annoying 60-day lock. So if we want to beat the system, we've got to understand the system first. Let's break down the three main things that are driving up your renewal costs. It all starts with a classic marketing trick, loss leader pricing. A registrar will sell you that first year for practically nothing. Sometimes they're even losing money on the deal just to get you signed up. They are betting that once you're in, you're not going to bother moving later. That's when they can jack up the price and make all their money back, plus a whole lot more. Okay, second, you've got the wholesale fee. Think of the central registry like VeriSign, which manages all the .com domains, as the main wholesaler. They set a base price, a non-negotiable fee that every single registrar out there, from GoDaddy to Cloudflare, has to pay to get the domain for you. And right here, this is where your bill gets bloated. On top of that wholesale fee, most registrars add their own profit margin, a markup. This markup is the only reason why your renewal at one company can be double or triple what it is somewhere else. It's just pure profit for them. But what if a registrar just didn't add that markup? Well, that's exactly what the at-cost model is. And for your wallet, it is a total game changer. The difference is actually super simple. The standard model takes the wholesale fee and slaps a big markup on top. That becomes your price. The at-cost model, which is what Cloudflare uses, just passes the wholesale fee and a tiny mandatory ICANN fee directly to you. The markup? It's completely gone. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Cloudflare says this directly in their own materials. They offer domains at wholesale prices, period. Their business isn't built on making a profit from your domain registration, and that is a massive win for us. Just look at the long-term impact here. Over a decade, that small annual markup turns into a massive gap in cost. You literally end up paying almost double with a traditional registrar compared to an at-cost one like Cloudflare. That is some serious savings just for choosing a different company. Okay, so you're sold on the savings, but how do you actually transfer your domain without your website or your email just going offline? Let's build a safe, zero downtime game plan. This right here is the number one fear that stops people from switching. The fear of that horrible site not found error. And I totally get it. But I promise you, if you follow these next two steps before you even start the transfer, you can pretty much guarantee a completely seamless process with zero downtime. So there are two non-negotiable steps here. First, you need to move your DNS hosting over to Cloudflare before you transfer the domain itself. This just means changing your name servers. Second, and listen, this is absolutely critical. If you have a security feature called DNSSEC enabled, you must disable it at your current registrar. Then you have to wait at least 24 hours for that change to take effect across the internet before you do anything else. So why is that DNSSEC step so important? Well, as Cloudflare's own documentation warns, if you don't turn it off first, the old security settings are going to clash with the new DNS provider, and your domain will simply stop working. It will cause the exact outage you're trying so hard to avoid. Now, once that prep work is done, the actual transfer process is shockingly fast. I'm not talking about the usual 5 to 7 days of waiting and wondering. I'm talking about getting this whole thing done in about 15 minutes. It's basically a 4-step sprint. First, you unlock your domain at your current registrar. Easy. Second, request the authorization code. Sometimes it's called an EPP code. Third, you hop over to Cloudflare, start the transfer, and paste that code in. And finally, this is the secret to making it so fast, go right back to your old registrar, find the pending transfers area, and manually approve the transfer out. This lets you bypass the standard 5-day waiting period they automatically put in place. And look, this isn't just a theory. As one tech blogger documented, following this exact process, especially that final manual approval step, allowed them to get the entire transfer done from start to finish in just 15 minutes flat. It really works. All right, we're almost there. I've got one last super important piece of insider info for you that will save you from a major headache known as the 60-day lock. First, it's really important to know that there are two different actions that people often confuse. A change of registrant is when you update the legal owner's contact info, like their name or email. An inter-registrar transfer is what we've been talking about, moving your domain from one company to another. These are not the same thing. And here's why that distinction is so critical. ICANN, the organization that governs all domains, has a mandatory rule. If you change the owner's name or email, your domain is automatically locked and cannot be transferred for 60 days. It's a security feature, but it can accidentally trap your domain if you do things in the wrong order. So, here is the bottom line, and it is dead simple. Always transfer your domain to the new registrar first. Once that transfer is 100% complete and your domain is sitting safely in your new Cloudflare account, then you can go in and update the owner's contact information if you need to. If you get that order wrong, you're going to be stuck waiting for 2 months. So after all this, the final question is pretty simple. Your domain name is your address on the internet. It's your digital real estate. And now that you know how easy it is to switch to a provider that doesn't overcharge you, are you still paying way too much for the keys?